binge Tales of the Jedi, which we'll probably talk about today a little bit. But wow, amazing. I mean,
How about we talk about it right
bias here. Okay, fine. But all right, really quick. Tales of the Jedi. It's 6 episodes, like 15 minutes max each, and it's kind of like little pieces in time throughout the prequel trilogy so far, and just fills in some more story backgrounds and stuff, and some loose ends, honestly. Excuse me.
now?
Yeah, we were, thinking about sometimes, but not all the time. But Dave Filoni, of course, master of his craft, really good.
Perfect.
Just really good, like Star Wars content. Honestly, simple, like bite-sized chunks that get the point across. And yeah, I had a couple notes actually because I didn't know if we were going to really talk about it. But
So let me ask you this question, Joel. Out of all the episodes that
don't do
they
this
released,
to me. Don't do this to me.
or I'll be fair. I'll be fair with you, because the whole show, or at least this whole season, kind of wrapped around like the past of Ahsoka and Count Dooku.
Yep.
For both of them, which episode intrigued you the most?
Fuck. Okay, so I did enjoy episode 1 with Ahsoka, talking about like nature and the beast and stuff. I really enjoyed that. But for me, I think the last episode, Tales of the Jedi, where basically it's like during Order 66, essentially, after they see Padme and she talks to Bail Organa, and she's kind of just trying to live, live a peaceful life.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't. She saves someone's life. It comes back to bite her, unfortunately, right? She's trying to do the good thing of being, even though she says she's not a Jedi, she kind of is. She saves someone's life, comes back to bite her because it was like, you're a Jedi. This fucking Imperial bootlicker fucking tries to report her, gets, the whole fucking town slaughtered, dumbass. And then, she saves him again and kills this cool Inquisitor, really cool mask. And for me, that episode was just a good build-up, good commentary. And for me, it echoed in Rebels when Obi-Wan fights Maul. She didn't need much. She didn't even have a lightsaber. She finished him
She
off.
fucking kicked his ass.
Dude, he was nothing. He was all bark. Absolutely
He was like,
no bite.
He was like the coolest Inquisitor we ever seen, and Ahsoka was like, nah. get fucking wrecked,
Yeah.
dude.
Right. That episode for me was the best Ahsoka one. Previous one, though, I'm not going to overlook it. Just talking about how Anakin was training her to deal with human targets, or fight live targets, not just droids. Droids are predictable, but humans or aliens or actual beings aren't. And we know the parallel because she's going to literally take on clones later. And I didn't even think they're going to do it. They ended the episode with that. When she's with Rex and she has to escape, and she's on board that ship with all these clones. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, they went there. And I was just like, wow, like Anakin, for better for worse, like trained her to save her own life.
To survive.
So, yeah, it was really good. Just reiterating, practice makes perfect,
It was a very beautiful episode, especially just kind of like with just the imagery, because we all know what happens. So like we're like seeing how their relationship started to build, because it was still kind of like in that like rocky area where like Anakin didn't really want to be a master, Ahsoka was still young, but then it kind of showed as Ahsoka improved, like their relationship as like master and apprentice like improved as well. And then of course, like you said, at the end where it skips all the way forward to like that one scene in season 7 of Clone Wars, just like a perfect end cap to the episode. It was great. Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of cute, where they actually had a lot of the familiar clones in like the flashback during the training. Yep. So it just kind of made you feel bad. It's like, oh no, because that they're all gonna turn eventually. It's like, oh. Yeah.
What was really great about the beginning of the episode is we see a young Obi-Wan, like fresh out of Attack of the Clones, watching, and we also see a very young Kanan Jarrus looking and observing
That was cute.
what's
Like,
going on. I was like, oh, who I know who that is. I could tell right away. That was a nice little touch.
and he was super
Um,
fucking excited to see some training.
yeah,
It
and
was
but
cute.
there's like in the end, you're just like, oh my heart. um, for as far as the Dooku element, I have to say it goes to episode 4, the heaviest episode for many reasons. They talk about a little tie into Attack of the Clones. He deletes Camino at the
Dude,
beginning.
I was
Like,
fucking going
bro,
crazy over
was
that
like
shit.
really the littlest fucking detail. And they was like, nah, let's just wrap this up a little here. Oh, it's Typho DS, blah blah blah. Whoop. It's like, oh, nice. And then, which is interesting, is you have Yaddle here, another species like Yoda, talking normally, with Dooku kind of right
Oh,
when. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, like, I was waiting for that moment because I knew as soon as she started talking, it was going to be the verdict on the internet whether or not Yoda is just a weird old man.
Oh, we think we know the answer now. But we see Yaddle talking to Dooku right during at first with talking with Qui-Gon Jinn, how they ran into Darth Maul, which I thought was really interesting. We know where they are in time, and later they find out Qui-Gon Jinn, he's dead. They're going to go to his funeral, and it was just a interesting touch, like where we are in time, the little jump forward. But later, which I thought was truly interesting, because we hear we don't see Yaddle in episode 2, I believe, right? She's just in episode 1. I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe she died, or she goes and fucks Yoda and leaves to make Grogu, whatever. But we that is debunked, because she follows Dooku back to where we see Dooku meet Palpatine and Coruscant, and which is really interesting, the dynamic between him and Sidious. It's Dooku wants to use his power for still good things, but Sidious is like, no. Sidious is pulling him along, right? He's like, we can't clear
Mhm.
corruption this way. And then Yaddle's like, yeah, I agree with you, Dooku, but not this way. And of course they fight. It's really good. Choreography. They show that she is just as, she has a lot of finesse and flexibility, just like Yoda. And of course, he just straight up is like, he kind of thinks about who he's going to choose, but we know who he chooses in the end. And
Oh yeah.
it's a great fight. And just when I thought, Yaddle was out, she's back up for one more second in a triumphant moment. But she, we know she doesn't show up later, and Dooku, double taps her. And
Yeah.
I don't want to say how, but it's like, wow. Just that last 3 minutes was just like, what the, like, I was wowed and taken aback, and it was great.
It was wild.
Yeah.
What I really love though is seeing the, like, just showing that Dooku was there during episode 1.
Yep.
Like when they returned to Coruscant and they were doing their thing, like the fact, like, because for the longest time, at least I thought, like, he was gone by then.
Yeah.
Like he already fucked off back to his fucking home planet to become a count
Yeah. Yeah.
of everything. But to see that he was there and still counseling Qui-Gon, which is
Yep.
really cool because we actually got to see a little bit of their relationship at,
Yep.
you know, pretty much like near the very end of Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, like to see that he was the one that erased the coordinates to Camino, like getting that little bit in there, and then having just the idea that popped into my mind is like, fuck, everything goes to shit literally because Qui-Gon dies.
Yep.
Like, not only does Anakin get fucked because he doesn't have Qui-Gon as a master, but also pretty much the Sith gain more power because he died, only because he was like the linchpin to having Dooku pretty much go all in.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, you saw he was still kind of like hesitant a little bit. He was like, well, it's like, hey, you had Maul kill my apprentice, like my
Yeah.
friend. And it's like, what the fuck's up with that? And it's like, well, his apprentice killed mine. And it's like, oh, okay,
You
fuck
know,
you, dude,
rule of
fucking
two
Palpatine.
bullshit.
And it's like, damn, Qui-Gon really is like the linchpin in the Star Wars universe. It's fucking wild.
All because he found some little kid with extra cells.
All because he found a little kid with extra cells, and he was just a little bit too old to fight. That's it. He just got on in age.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did enjoy the other episode, like the assassination with Dooku and Mace Windu teaming up. I did enjoy that. I just like how it shows that there's a duality to the Jedi, and like Dooku points out the flaws to us in a great way. Like, you're too by the book, and are we really keepers of the peace? Or are we just defending what's important? Or sorry, not important. Defending, property or people, right? Is that real? Keeping the peace the same as like protecting assets, essentially? Which I thought was an interesting conversation to have in Star Wars, which they usually don't talk about. And the other one where in episode 2, where Dooku and Qui-Gon go to the city again, they see like a politician is not treating his people great, and they kidnap his son, and it's like, we want you to improve things, and he comes back with an army. He's like, nah, fuck this, I want my son, you're gonna die. And Dooku's like, no, what I love, he's like, there will be no more corruption, but the way he goes about it is he's gonna fucking kill people to
Yep.
like destroy it. And it's like, wow, like it's like
And,
you got a line, but you're not wrong.
and what I love is that Qui-Gon sees this, like young Qui-Gon sees this, and he's like, oh no. And he doesn't do like the stereotypical thing where he tries to talk down Dooku. It's like he knows the only thing that's going to stop him is that he needs to go get that guy's son and have him stop.
Which I thought
It's
was
like,
an interesting way to show too, you don't need always to use violence as the answer, which they of course talked about. Yeah, Qui-Gon knew he could not take on. That's for sure.
Also, fun fact, I found out that apparently to get the models of Dooku and Qui-Gon in an episode, they actually took some reference photos of Christopher Lee and Liam Neeson when they were younger, like around that age. So they kind of used it as a reference. It was like, oh, that's sick. Because usually stuff like this, you kind of, you figure that they would just kind of like, oh, this is what they would kind of look like if they're younger. Maybe we'll try to make it look like the actor or something. But no, they just went straight for like full on reference footage of the actors. And it's like, yeah, fuck it, here you go.
All right. Before I ask you to flip it onto you, Brian, two things. One, I believe that shitty planet got better. It's the same planet Ahsoka is in the last episode, because it's the same droid. I could be wrong. Just want to say that because remember that droid is lifting dirty hay bales, but in the last episode it's like clean hay bales. So either way, it gets fucked. So it doesn't matter. But I think it's the same planet. So one connection. Two, someone pointed out, I noticed, Dooku ages like a motherfucker, like fucking Professor X from X
fucking
3
stress,
or 4
man.
to X-Men 2000, right? Dooku from killing Yaddle to Attack of the Clones, he ages like a motherfucker. He's all grayed out. But yeah, I mean, he killed a fellow Jedi Master, stress of the Emperor, lost Qui-Gon. It fucked him up. I guess everything that happened in Clone Wars too, but holy shit. he aged.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I wonder how the fuck he hid doing that. Because the Jedi somehow the Jedi found out that Yaddle died. And from what I remember, like Dooku just like resigns from the order. And it's like, these motherfuckers never found out that he did that shit. It's like, what the fuck?
Dark side clouded their vision, remember?
Apparently, shit. I mean, I know it does, but it's like, holy fuck.
Someone didn't do their homework, or they just killed the right people to not talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, your top 2, top Dooku, top Ahsoka episode, Tales of the Jedi.
I mean, I was interested in seeing like a little bit of like the Ahsoka stuff. I was mainly in this series to see a lot of the Dooku stuff, just because I've listened to the audiobooks, like the Dooku audiobooks and the Qui-Gon ones, and it's like I was really interested to see them fill in the gaps of what those books did. So it's really hard to pick a Dooku one. Like the one with Yaddle and stuff was really good. It had a lot of cool information that I found intriguing. I think that's a really, really good one. I would say like probably the second is the second episode, just for like Dooku, and just seeing them like young, like like master and apprentice kind of thing. For Ahsoka, the training episode was really good. I really like the training episode. The first one was really interesting. The seeing like Ahsoka being born and seeing her in her village with her people and getting the kind of like idea of how her people lived. And then of course like them finding out, like basically putting 2 and 2 together that she was a Jedi. Or at least she had like the Force.
Her connection with nature was really interesting too.
Yeah, having baby Ahsoka fuck right into the village on the top of a tiger.
That was dope.
But yeah, definitely hoping that they get to do more of those things and like focus on like maybe have a season focus on 2 separate Jedis and kind of do some more fill in the blank work.
Yep, or go beyond the prequels, sequels, original. I can't believe I can't remember his name. It's a really cool Jedi. My God.
Sounds like
shit.
Looks like
Obi-Wan's friend, but he's in love with Asajj Ventress. Why can't I remember his name?
Oh,
on the head from it. God damn it.
You're giving me the blanks too.
Look it up. Quinlan Vos.
Quinlan Vos. Thank you.
I would love to see some Quinlan Vos action.
I mean, they teased him in the Obi-Wan show, showing that he did write his name.
If that was him, but I like to think he survived. Might have been a feint.
I just want to shout out real quick. Miley's in chat. Hi, Miley. Jetster? Yeah, Dexter Jetster, the hidden Jedi diner owner.
Yeah. How big is your pocketbook? Assassinates Quinlan Vos. Not big enough, Quinlan.
Hey man. Post Galactic Republic fucking tanked, the industry, the diner industry, so he had to kind of make up where
oh my God,
where he left off.
Yeah, the Imperials are telling him to make him burgers instead of him. Watch Republic soldiers altering it.
Watch Mando season 3. I know a guy.
Oh,
pans over. They fucking go to Dexter's fucking diner.
With Quinlan Vos having a shake or some shit. Old man Quinlan. Oh my God.
That'd be wild if they prove that he's still alive by just showing an old ass Quinlan. But have him like just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. He's just like drinking all the time. He's just Dexter's like, yeah, he just hangs around a lot of the time. I don't know why I gave him that voice too. That's not how Dexter sounds at all.
You made him a clone.
Yeah, you never know. There could be a clone working there. You never know. All right. Anything else you want to talk about your week?
Nah, I'm good. Let's get you to talk about yours. We had a giant segue with Tales of the Jedi. Your turn.